Welcome to In the Pocket with Rich Gannon. Rich, thank you so much for joining us today.
Erin, it's great to be with you.
It is great to have you. The first thing you know I need to talk to you about is the way that game finished yesterday. It came down to the two plays in the final seconds of the game, two absolutely clutch pass breakups, courtesy of a one Isaiah Johnson. Let me ask you this. Are you impressed to see this young team find new ways to win?
I am, Erin. You know, it seems like it's a different player every week that's making a critical play in a big situation at the end of the game. Isaiah Johnson yesterday in the back right corner of the end zone. I mean, just getting his hand up in there and staying with it and trying to track the ball. And you know, we talk a lot about technique and fundamentals and doing things the right way. And I think if you do that in practice, eventually it begins to pay off in the game. But I look at the way they're playing. You know, they're 4-1 on the road. When's the last time the Raiders were 4-1 on the road? Probably the last time I was under center. It's a long time ago. Well, I give them a lot of credit. It's not always pretty, but they're finding a way to get the job done. Going on the road and winning in the division is significant.
Yeah, and this is a guy that's only played 14 snaps in 6 games. When called upon, Isaiah Johnson definitely delivered. Another guy that delivered, how about Derek Carr? We talked about him being more comfortable. He talked about it too in his third year, of course, with John Gruden. And it certainly shows as he, of course, continues to flash two things from last season that he has certainly improved upon. Taking shots down the field and turning his runs into first downs. For you, Rich, what's impressed you the most about what you're seeing from Carr this season in terms of improvement?
Erin, those two things are significant. And let's talk about them. I think pushing the ball down the field, something he didn't do a lot of the last couple of years. I think the personnel has a lot to do with it. The additions that they've made at wide receiver, guys that can really get up and go and stretch the field vertically. I think that has helped. Nelson Aguilar being one of them. I mean, you know, who would have thought in the season? It's just, you know, this guy, he already has 5 touchdowns this season. He had 3 last season, all of last season, and 4 the season before. So he's making an impact. And I also think, you know, Derek's ability to make plays outside the pocket with his legs, to pick up a couple first downs each week is significant. It's something that John Gruden has been preaching for a long time. The unscripted plays. And we talk a lot about the guy in Kansas City doing it, the guy in Green Bay. Derek has those talents. He's got good feet. He's got good quickness. He's got good maneuverability. He's got good escapability. But his first thought in the past hasn't been to pull it down and run. His first thought is to kind of buy some time and find the open receiver. I'm pleased to see he's doing more of that. Well, let me just finish with Derek real quick. The decision-making, to me, is a big part of the success the Raiders have had. He's completing 70% of his passes. He is taking great care of the football. He's thrown just 2 picks on the season. He's thrown 16 touchdowns and 2 picks. Wow. I mean, that's a phenomenal pace. I just think when you look at all that's going on, his ability to change plays, change protections, get into a bad run, out of a bad run into a good run, or, you know, all the different things he's doing at the line of scrimmage, manipulating the defense with his eyes. I mean, I just think the decision-making to me has been impressive with Derek through the first half of the season. And
now when you're a defense, you got to worry about Carr possibly running the ball. MVP of the season consideration definitely has to go to what Tom Cable has been able to do, losing so many starters, of course, on the offensive line. What did you think of the play from the O-line, and especially the new tackles filling in, Brandon Parker and Sam Young?
You know, it's very difficult when you're without one starting tackle. And then when you're without both starting tackles, you know, that Colton Miller not playing, that's significant. Your left tackle, that's who you pay the big money to. He's the anchor. He takes care of the best pass rushers week in and week out. I just thought that, you know, Brandon Parker and Sam Young came in and did a nice job. You know, Melvin Ingram is a handful. You know, Tillery is a good player as well, former first-round pick. You know, it's a good defensive line that can generate pressure on the quarterback and affect the passer. Derek did a good job getting the ball out, but other tackles really played well in this one, as well as the guys inside who've been really consistent all season long. But you do have to tip your hat to Tom Cable. He's one of the better offensive line coaches in football. He does a terrific job, I think, developing young players within the system.
And it seems like each and every week, Tom Cable has a new challenge to have to deal with when it comes to the offensive line. And well, like we do every week with you, Rich, let's look ahead to next week for the Raiders as they stay in the division and take on the Broncos. You called yesterday's Broncos-Falcons game, so you know exactly what they are up against in terms of challenges with Denver. What did you see from them that maybe the Raiders should be concerned about?
It's a good defense, but they're beat up right now, Erin. And, they're really good on third down, do a good job getting off the field. They're really stingy in the red zone. They've been a top 5 unit in both of those areas most of the season. But right now, they're just depleted. Jarrell Casey went on IR, Mike Purcell. They didn't have Shelby Harris last week. He's their best defensive lineman. So that's 3 defensive linemen that haven't been playing. Then you look at their secondary. And their 2 top corners didn't play yesterday. Bryce Callahan, their best cover corner, A.J. Boye. Boye had the concussion. Callahan had the ankle injury. So I would anticipate both will play this week against the Raiders. But, the defensive line is beat up. But this will be a good challenge. It's Denver. It's always tough. But they've got the defense, I think, is going to be the difference in this game. The Denver offense is struggling right now. And I think if you can get some pressure on the young quarterback, Drew Lock, I think you got a chance to really create some negative plays and possibly some turnovers for the Raider defense.
Well, Rich, the Raiders now 4-1 on the road. However, their next 2 games are at home against Denver and Kansas City. As always, we appreciate when you join us. Thank you, Rich.
Thanks, Erin.